intuitive edge here. So I wanted to weigh in on post-impeachment and talk about what's been going on with that and what's going to be coming up. But before I get into that, I wanted to talk about what happens when people use their psychic ability or their tarot cards or their impressions or intuition. It's very easy to get the rational mind that knows how things go, and then the intuition that may be saying something that's different. Sometimes the interpretation can really be a tricky thing. For most psychics, intuitives have to kind of deal with that. It's a learned thing to know how to interpret sometimes the messages that you're getting or the symbols that you're getting. Now, for instance, with this impeachment, when a psychic or an intuitive, for instance, sees, I just don't see this going to the Senate, the rational brain kicks in and goes, well, that's because the House isn't going to pass the articles of impeachment. That makes sense, right? If it doesn't pass the House, then the Senate won't have anything to get. Well, as we've seen this play out, perhaps another scenario that we didn't see is that the House is holding on to the articles and not pushing it forward. And so that can sometimes get mixed messages for psychics and intuitives that see on one hand, yeah, I see an impeachment, and the other saying, but I don't see it going to the Senate. Well, that's in the rational brain, that's not how things work. And so it can lead to some confusion or misunderstanding, especially related to how to interpret the messages you're getting. So, but I wanted to take a look at this a little further and look at what is going to be coming next. So what's on the table now that this vote was taken, and now that the House, it looks like, is hanging on and not wanting to push the articles forward. I laid out 6 cards. I just had 6 questions. So what will happen next in the Senate? I've got the 7 of Wands. This is a card of having the upper hand. Now we know that the Senate does have the upper hand. They can vote to, they can take a vote to kill it dead on arrival, and people have been speculating that that was going to be the case. But they have the upper hand, as you can see with this card here. This is a card of having the upper hand in a battle or a fight. Now, so what's going on in the House post-impeachment? What's going to be happening there? We've got the reversed justice. No surprise there. This can indicate a fussiness, wanting to stick by the teeniest of things and trivial, making the trivial big. And also can indicate on a mundane level just the idea of justice being either something being unfair. If you think about the Justice card, I'll show it to you upright. She's holding the balanced scales. She's in getting her wisdom from on high, represented by the little globe she's holding, and the balance scales. And as a reversal, it's like things are topsy-turvy. Things are not clear. And things are unfair. So what's the hidden agenda? What's really going on? I have the reversed Ace of Wands. Show it to you reversed. Now the impression I get looking at this card is that hand with that stick and the yarrow, and it's kind of got this big X, in the middle of the card. Just feels this feeling of obstruction and blockade. Okay. Aces are supposed to be about new beginnings and getting something going. And this is like a blockade on that new energy. So my next question is on the Supreme Court. Will they intervene? Now the Q drop, if anybody follows the Q board, suggested that there may be a possible intervention by the Supreme Court that may take a look at these articles of impeachment. I feel them being a little reticent to take this on or to look at this case. Kind of a feeling like I have to, it's hard to describe what I'm feeling, but it's like this feeling of really, It also feels like the Supreme Court has a busy schedule already, and they kind of have to set things aside to deal with this, perhaps, if they go that route. And so it's kind of like we have to shuffle and do some things, shuffle some things around, set things aside that we're working on to deal with this. And it kind of feels like a I don't know the word. It's like frustrated, but like, okay, it's an inconvenience. Oh, maybe that's the word. Just it feels like it's a burden for them, or inconvenience to have to take that on. On the president himself, I have the Two of Wands reversed. Now, this is a card about looking over all that you've accomplished. It's a sense of accomplishment, looking at the world and how, like, the grandeur of what lies ahead and what you've been doing, a feeling of accomplishment. And with it reversed, it feels like almost like a little bit of a surprise, I feel like the president was a little surprised. Probably not surprised, but surprised. Like, I'm sure he probably knew that it was eventual that the Democrats would try to do what they could to remove him from office, that they would try to impeach him. So the outcome card for this post-impeachment is obstacles. We have the Nine of Wands, and it's reversed. There's a card of being on the defense, waiting for something, and reverse, you're up against obstacles, adversity, calamity. So where this impeachment goes is uncertain. It may, I think, I have a suspicion based on the cue boards and this card of the president, this Two of Wands facing back to the Supreme Court, that the president may be, or the White House may be asking the Supreme Court to take a look at this. So maybe this will be decided in the court. And that'll be interesting how that ends up. I guess we'll see. I'm going to leave that here for now. I have a lot of thoughts on the whole thing of impeachment, but I don't want to get off on a tangent about that. So we'll just leave that here for now. Looks like the fate of the impeachment itself may be uncertain. When I did do some cards about impeachment, I was pulling some cards yesterday. I did see it seemed pretty strong that impeachment vote would be taken, but there was this funny feeling about it not going to the Senate, and that didn't make sense to me. And so I was thinking, well, they must be not passing it in the House, because that's, in my head, that was like the only way it could not go to the Senate. So anyway, that's all I have for this. So we'll see what happens. Thanks, guys. Bye for now.